everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of Reputation Rescue at Lazio with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, we sit in early December in 4th in Serie A. Form has been pretty good since the last time you and I were together was for the 2-0 loss against local rivals, the derby game against Roma. We didn't show up at all. Since then, though, we've done pretty well. We qualified very well from our Champions League group stage, which is fantastic. So you can see that we topped the group and it had Galatasaray, Dortmund and Real Madrid in it. So we did really, really well in that competition, comfortably gone through. We haven't found out who our first round knockout opponents are yet, but we'll find that out fairly soon, I would suggest. So that's something to look forward to in sort of February, March time. And the other games that we've had since the Roma game in Serie A were against Torino and Inter Milan and Bologna, and we won against Bologna and Torino. But we only drew against Inter Milan. We were doing absolutely fine. But then Felipe got sent off in the 84th minute. And in the 92nd minute, Inter Milan got an equaliser. Really gutting. He deserved his double yellow, unfortunately. So there's no complaints. Couple of slightly dodgy challenges. But you can see we were on course to win that game. And that would have been perfect. But we didn't quite manage it. Another error in terms of defenders getting themselves sent off. If you've been in my derby save recently, you'll have seen that quite a bit from somebody that we won't mention here. Anyway, that's just the way it is. So today we go into a game against Napoli. Now, originally I thought this was going to be a real top of the table clash in the sense of I thought Napoli were going to be at the top of the table, but they've just dropped off a little bit in the last couple of games and they find themselves sitting above us in third position, and Milan and Cagliari have both gone above them in the league, but they've played a game extra than Napoli have, so that's why they've dropped off a little bit. But in theory it's still a real top game, isn't it? Third versus fourth in Serie A. We are both ahead of Roma and Zebra, which is Juventus in this particular save. So that's a good place for us to be coming up to the end of the calendar year. So this is our third season in Serie A with Lazio, and this is the final season. The whole idea was to spend 3 seasons at Lazio and see if we can get them to the top of the Serie A. Now it's going to be tricky. It became a lot harder than I thought it would be last season. We managed to rescue it and turn it around a little bit, having had a bad start. But this season has been okay. Nothing more than okay, though, I would suggest. After 15 games, we've had 3 draws and 3 losses. So only 9 wins out of 15. So that's a couple of losses more than I would really want at this stage. But we still sit in 4th and we are 9 points behind Milan, who are the current leaders. So we've got a good chance to move up the table and challenge for the title if we perform well in the second half of the season. So it's all about getting a good result against Napoli today, though, and that is going to be tricky. The positive at the moment is that we've been able to rotate the squad around in a couple of games recently. You can see that the match sharpness suggests most players have played a bit. The 3 at the bottom probably haven't so much, but everybody else has. So that's really important for us continuing to maintain fitness and health of the players through the rest of the season. So what it means today against top level opposition in Napoli, we get to put out the full strength 11. So that means that Strakosha is in goal, Felipe and Acerbe in central defence, Zappacosta at right back, Muru at left back, Gagliardini, Milinkovic, Savic and Alberto in central midfield, with Lazzari on the right, Correa on the left and Immobile up top, and pretty much everybody else on the bench, as is always the case in Serie A. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. Go out there and give these fans their money's worth is what we've gone with. We're, of course, away from home, so it's going to be doubly difficult away from home against a top-level opposition today. The stadium isn't particularly full, is it? It's quite a surprise, really. I suspect that attendances are just down over all of Serie A, maybe, but yeah, quite surprised to see such a small amount of people in the stadium. for a big, important Serie A clash. Let's see if we can do something with this particular match, though, and take some really valuable points over a direct rival. We had a throw-in on the far side. Eventually, it switched back over there to the left-hand side to Muru. Cross comes in, but it doesn't quite hit the target in terms of any of our players. But we win the loose ball when it's half cleared. Cross again comes in, but the Napoli goalkeeper claims it with no problems on that occasion. And we're just a little bit toothless on that particular attack, weren't we? We had a couple of really good chances for good crosses in, but it didn't quite work. But the highlight continues, and it's Napoli on the ball, but we get a good foot in there from Lazio and win the ball back. And it's gone right the way back to our defensive area, but we've maintained possession. A sweeping ball for Correa down that left-hand side. Cuts the ball into Immobile, and 1-0 after 17 minutes. It was coming before that with the highlights that we had. A couple of decent crosses in, but never quite got anybody on the end of them. Then we won the ball back really well from Lazio, and there's a great sweeping ball over to the left. Correa picks out the early run of Immobile in the front of the defender at the near post, and he pokes the ball home quite easily, really. And he's been a little bit quiet recently. I actually changed up his role today. He was normally playing as a pressing forward. Today I've put him as the advanced forward, a little bit less running about for the sake of closing down the ball, but a little bit more clarity and composure on the finishing, hopefully, because of it. So we'll have to check that out as we move forward. But always tinkering just to see if we can get the best out of different players in different parts of the team. And today, Immobile has done very, very nicely up top. So let's go in, and we can now passionately say, I'm happy with your performance, keep it up. And just put the onus on them to keep trying, keep pushing, keep maintaining the discipline on the ball, not giving away loose balls. That's what happened for Napoli, isn't it? We snuck in the middle of a ball-carrying player and managed to take it away from them, which was really the catalyst for our counter-attack. Alberto with a good free kick to the far post. The effort goes in, and eventually they scramble it clear for a corner kick for us. Lazio with a corner kick, Alberto into the far post. Don't quite get the header in, but again we win the possession back and the highlight dies. So a couple of sighters there, but again not quite the quality on the finish that we're looking for. But it's nonetheless very pleasing to see that we are in this game away from home performing pretty well. Now we've got a couple of decisions to make because we're quite late in the game, in the early 70th, I think 72nd minute. Lazari's down on his fitness, so we're going to bring him out and put Buendia in. He's done pretty well for us when he's had to come in. We are also going to take out Milinkovic-Savic and put Locatelli in because Milinkovic-Savic was looking a bit nervy. We've got one final thing that we can do, and I think we're going to take a Serbi off at the back and put Armini on just because of that yellow card at the back, and we don't want to cause any more problems for ourselves, having watched Felipe get sent off recently for the second bookable offence in the Inter game, which was so gutting. We were doing so well to hold them at 1-0 up, and then, the last 5 minutes it went completely, but it doesn't cause us a problem today, does it? That is a fantastic result. A bit of a quiet last 20 minutes of the game, but it means that we pick up three really valuable points. So let's go in and praise the side, passionately say, very nice victory, well done to them. That will boost their morale a little bit and delight them, which is fantastic to see. And then let's have a look at this table. We've closed the gap up to Napoli above us to 1 point, which is fantastic. And it also just puts the pressure on a little bit to those above us, Cagliari and Milan. Now they've got a couple of points more than Napoli have, so they're a little bit further up. But we are beginning to put the pressure on a little bit, even though we've played that game extra than the three above us. That's still not too bad. We've got to watch over our shoulders a little bit. Roma and Zebra have both got games in hand over us as well. So we're looking good, but we have played that extra bit of game than most around us. So we've got to keep the momentum of this sort of result going and keep finding ways to get those 3 points and keeping the momentum up for the second part of this season. So we are just about to transition into a new year. January 2022 is on the horizon. So we are going to go and play right the way through January I'll see if I can do some wheeling and dealing in the transfer market maybe as well. And we're going to come back against Juventus, Zebra. And we might even possibly play a double header because we got Zebra and Milan, one after the other, in that early February period. So come back next episode. We'll see if we can do that double header. But until then, let's see if we can keep this run going a little bit. We're on some good form now, and we need to pick up some good points. Cagliari in there. Obviously, they're doing well this season. Other than that, though, I would say there's some winnable fixtures in the January part of this particular season. So I'm hoping for some good amount of points and to come out the end of it looking as though we can properly challenge for this title. So join me for the next episode to see if we've managed to do that and see if we can get a positive result against Zebra and Milan in that particular episode on Saturday. Until then, go check out my other series. The Rolling in the Isles series is got some interesting stuff coming up this week. Tomorrow, Thursday, is an international edition in terms of my England side are back playing in a competition. So come and join me for that. And then on Friday, we are starting a brand new club. We're not at Derby County for next season anymore. We finished third in the Premier League. Was it third? I think it was. My mind has gone completely blank. Yes, it was third. And we got knocked out in the semi-final of the Champions League. And it was just the perfect opportunity for me to look around on what was happening. And we got a very, very lucrative, good offer to move somewhere else. And I decided to take it because the whole point of that series is to try and get us high up in the Champions League as possible. And I thought we've got a better option in the new club. So come and join me on Friday to find out who the new club is. Until then, though, thanks for joining me today for this Lazio series. We're going much better now than we have done recently. So hopefully the second half of the season is going to be great. Stick with me and we'll find out what happens as we progress. And we'll come back and we'll see whether we've done any January transfer business as well. So thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join my United City community. The more the merrier. If you haven't already, click that like button for me on this particular episode. Please do that. That helps me get seen by lots of other people. Till next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.